Y'all, Kevin Durant be lying. Like he be lying. For real, and making it seem like everybody out to get him and everybody don't know what they talking about when they got 100% accurate stories on him. 100%, and he be trying to make every reporter feel like they stupid and they don't know what they talking about and they making stuff up, right? That's the same reason why I told y'all don't try to come at Chris Broussard when he had said he went back and forth in texting with Kevin Durant. No, he didn't actually text him, but Chris is 50 years old. He was referring to DMs back and forth as text, like a 50-year-old would do. But Kevin Durant spent that out of control and make it seem like, Chris making up stuff, pulling stuff out of thin air. You don't even got my number. But you know that man was DMing you back and forth. But you trying to play like he don't know what he talking about and he dumb and he just saying anything. Same thing just happened with Stephen A. Smith and Kevin Durant, right? So, what was it, yesterday? Stephen A. Smith mentioned how Kevin Durant, when he left, when he first was leaving, he first left OKC, the way he left. He had dinner with Royal Ivy. He had dinner with who else he had dinner with? Nick Collison and Russell Westbrook. And he told them he was staying in Oklahoma City. The next day, he comes and he decides to join Golden State and then just text Russell Westbrook, then call him and say, I'm leaving, bro. Right? And he said, look, I've heard this story from several different key sources. Kevin Durant comes in and messages Stephen A. Smith, your sources ain't right or whatever. You need to get your facts straight. I don't know who your sources are. They ain't, like, making it seem like his source is not accurate at all. And then a close friend of Kevin Durant comes on First Take and says that Stephen A. Smith wasn't lying. That's exactly how it happened. And he named the exact people that Stephen A. Smith mentioned and said, yes, that's what Kevin Durant did. He handled it wrong, but that's what he did. And then he changed his mind, and he's free to change his mind like any other person is. But he changed his mind and decided to go to Golden State after he told them the day before over dinner that he was going to stay in Oklahoma City. But here come KD, acting like don't nobody know what they talking about. Everybody just pulling stuff out of thin air and everybody just lying on him. Bro, stop it. Stop it. Like, he always do this. And everybody making it seem like, the media out to get KD and, like, KD don't... Now, again, sometimes, okay, people can go overboard with some coverage of him. But a lot of times people be just telling the truth on KD. But KD don't want you to say something about him without his permission. He don't want to release no info about... He don't want you to talk about nothing about him. He want to be the main source to say anything to the media. He want everybody to just talk about basketball on the court things. Nothing outside of the court. And that's unrealistic, bro. That's unrealistic. Everybody's going to talk about things outside of the court, especially if you're doing it and it leads to you making a basketball decision, brother. You having that dinner and all of that, that's a part of your basketball decision. That was a part of your basketball, your transferring from Oklahoma City to the Golden State Warriors. That's a part of that story. You don't want people to talk about it because it makes you look bad when that story comes out. He don't want nobody to talk about it. Of course he doesn't. But it's true. But again, he don't want nobody. He want to just talk about things between the lines of the basketball court. And in the history of sports, that has never, ever been done. So all these other fans that be acting like, oh, the media, this they fault, and why they can't just talk about basketball, bro? You wouldn't watch ESPN if they just talked about just everything that happened on the court. You love the storylines. You love the things that happen in the locker room. You love the story about the fights after the game. You love all of that. The summer workouts, the things that happen over the summer, the meetings. All of that is a part of sports, the sports realm. Y'all love that. If ESPN just talked about, okay, this guy shot bad, he didn't get the key rebound, that's it, it would be boring as hell. You know it and I know it. But KD, he only want people to talk about stuff on the basketball court. If anybody has a story about him, he only want it to come from his mouth. He don't want nobody to know he don't want nobody to say report anything on him unless he says it. If it ain't on the court, he don't say, oh, this is false, it's false. He want to make everybody look like they stupid and they pulling stories out of thin air. When it's on, one of his close friends, Kendrick Perkins, came on the show, came on First Take and admitted, he came out and said Look, that's really what happened. Stephen A. Smith wasn't lying, and unfortunately, it may hurt Kendrick Perkins' relationship with Kevin Durant, personal relationship with Kevin Durant, because Kevin gonna look at him like, why would you come out and tell him it was true after I said it wasn't true? Why would you do that? And he's gonna look like, Perk, you just trying to advance your media career. You're not thinking about me. You're not thinking about my narrative that I want to push. You're thinking about yourself. So it may cause friction between Kendrick Perkins and Kevin Durant. I wouldn't wish or hope that on them, but it may cause friction because Kevin Durant, I'm sure he didn't want anybody to know that Stephen A. Smith was telling the truth. He don't want nobody to know he's possibly lying, that he lying. And it makes KD, it does make him look bad because it make him look like, he doesn't want anything that's negative about him. He only just wanted to be about a bad shooting night. He don't want to talk about some decisions, some wrongdoings that he's made when it has to be discussed because Russell Westbrook was villainized. He was vilified. Like, oh, Russell was acting childish towards KD and, he did this for no reason and acting like, Russ is just being bitter and childish. And Kevin Durant handled things the wrong way. He surely did. Now, he made it a mistake, and Russell Westbrook did take things overboard, but it was this picture painted of Kevin Durant. I mean, he was this picture painted of Russell Westbrook being the ultimate villain at times, and he had he left for this reason and that because he didn't want to play with Russ and yada yada yada. But then he told Russ he was gonna stay initially. So, I don't know, man. KD, he always just going overboard, always lying, always just too much. Like he too much, and it make him look bad. It really does make him look bad. Like he don't. I'm telling you, him and Kyrie with the media, they probably gonna be snark as hell. I mean, gonna be up with their nose up in the air, being smart as hell with them. Sometimes I wish I was in a reporting field, cause I'm not a confrontational guy. I'm not try to be aggressive with people. But you ain't gonna punk me. No, I don't give a damn. Especially some NBA players. I've been walking around Chicago, Illinois for all my life, around gangbangers and all that. If I was a reporter, they be trying to come and act all crazy with you. Like, bro, what's wrong with you? Relax. Again, I know some reporters ask stupid questions, but they love to be just condescending towards reporters. And fam, they got a job to do too, just like you do. A part of their job is getting quotes to attach to their articles to make them more credible and to add to their story. That's what their bosses want them to do. The newspapers are credible more when they have quotes from certain guys about certain things. But y'all don't want them to talk to them and act all condescending towards them and all of that. I'm telling y'all, him in New York and Brooklyn, you acting like this now, that's false, that's BS, and you need to get your story straight, you need to get your facts straight and all of this. Brother, really? Your own boy came on here and said that Stephen A. Smith was telling the truth. Now you out here looking crazy. Like, Mars gotta chill out, man. Seriously. Like, he be doing too much, man. What my man say, he does it time and time again, for real. Line stepper. He's a habitual line stepper all the time. He's an habitual line stepper, like my man Charlie Murphy say. Always lying, always acting like somebody don't know him or making up stuff, and everybody just making up everything, pulling stuff out of thin air, and y'all was trying to get on Chris Broussard here. He don't even got his number. So what? He's talking about he was messaging that man back and forth, and Chris Broussard even admitted, saying, I'm not saying I'm the closest with KD. I'm not saying we best friends or best buddies or nothing like that. But we talked about things from basketball to faith, back and forth, and I believe Chris Broussard. Why? Because KD don't want nobody to know certain things about him. When you he don't want you to even think something, even if it may be true. Because he want to be the only person to say this about him. He want to be the only person to give you something. He don't want you to even imagine or even, think that, okay, this is what he may be doing. He don't want you to discuss him unless he sends the okay for you to discuss him in some type of way. And outside of basketball, unless he say something, he don't want you to say nothing about him. Bro, you a professional basketball player. Athletes get talked about all the time. Like what my man Cameron say, not dudes get shot every day. Dudes get talked about. Athletes get talked about every day, fam. This the world you chose, man. You're a superstar. One of the greatest players to ever play this game, man. For real. KD probably one of the most effortless scorers I ever watched with my own two eyes. Seriously. But all this, always acting like somebody just out to get him, and they're acting like people just making stuff up, bro. No, these sources that you got, they telling folks. You don't want nobody to know, but they telling these people, man. So that's coming from your camp. And you getting mad because people telling the truth and releasing true stories that you don't want out there. Nah, fam. They're gonna talk about them. They're gonna talk about them like they talk about it with any other superstar. They get on LeBron head. Everybody act like, oh, they only talk good about LeBron. Reporters was killing Bron this year. Killing Bron. Killing him. And they was killing him before he won the championship. They was used to kill Kobe at times. They used to kill all these other athletes. They killed Russell Westbrook. They killed James Harden. You gonna get the heat too, just like every other athlete, man. So to act like everybody don't know what they talking about and everybody just making stuff up and to act like, when he did that to Chris Broussard, I ain't like that. I ain't respect that at all because it put the credibility of Chris Broussard on the line and act like he was just lying about something. And when I know Chris Broussard wouldn't be he don't strike me as a liar that come on a TV show and make up stuff. And he defended his statements on Instagram afterwards. And I ain't defending Chris Broussard just because he's a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. No, it's not just that. I respect that brother's journalism. I respect how that brother is made up, for real, for real. And I highly doubt Chris would ever make up stories for publicity. He's recognized as one of the most credible sources in the NBA. Stephen A. Smith has broke stories as well. So it's like, I always acting like people just making stuff up and don't know what they talking about. It's y'all, and then he'll say, he used to do all that too. He used to say stuff, and when the media report about it, y'all the ones doing this. Y'all the media, y'all stirring up the pot. Y'all stirring up the pot. No, it's you, bro. That's you. You. Stuff that you didn't did, stuff that you didn't say it, you don't want people to talk about, is not realistic. It's not. It's not. Nobody talking about what you do with your personal life, your personal time. They talking about things that you've done off the court that's related to basketball. That's related to basketball. Not what you did at home, not what you did with your old lady, not what you did with your little cousin, not whatever chick you was dating, not whatever chick you flew out. Ain't nobody talking about none of that. They talking about basketball related things. And your dinner that you had, where you told Royal Ivy, where you told Nick Collison, where you told Russell Westbrook you were coming to OKC and then told him no, and then you changed your mind the next day and told him you leaving. That's a part of your basketball story. Analysts are going to talk about that, point blank period, especially in the midst of your move to Brooklyn. They're going to talk about it, whether you like it or not. Machiavelli Mills TV. Peace.